Listen up, because this might be the most important message you hear today. Right now, without even realizing it, you might be slowly killing your brain. You're not just losing energy. You're not just feeling tired or unmotivated. You are literally shutting down your brain's full potential, one bad habit at a time. Your mind is the control center of your entire life. It's responsible for every decision, every breakthrough, every opportunity you create. But if you don't protect it, if you don't fuel it, challenge it, and sharpen it, you're setting yourself up for failure before you even begin. First, let's talk about sleep. Because some of you are walking around like zombies, thinking coffee can replace deep rest. It can't. Every time you sacrifice sleep, you're robbing your brain of its ability to recover, to flush out toxins, to repair itself. You want sharper thinking? Better memory, stronger decision-making? Then stop burning yourself out. Sleep isn't for the weak. It's for the warriors who want to perform at the highest level. Then there's the dopamine trap. We live in a world of constant stimulation. TikTok, Instagram, notifications, junk food, quick hits of pleasure, but leave us empty and addicted. Your brain is wired for reward, but when you overload it with artificial highs, you lose the ability to focus, to create, to grind when it matters. The most successful people in the world don't waste their energy chasing quick dopamine. They build discipline. They control their focus. They channel their mind toward greatness. And what about the thoughts running through your head? If you keep feeding yourself negativity, if you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, your brain starts to believe it. You become the stories you tell yourself. The most dangerous prison isn't built with bars. It's built with the lies you keep repeating. Break the pattern. Rewire your mind. Start feeding it thoughts of power, confidence, and belief. And finally, some of you have stopped learning. You've stopped challenging yourself. You do the same routine, the same job, the same conversations, and you wonder why you feel stuck. Your brain thrives on growth. It needs to be pushed, stretched, and tested. Read books, learn new skills, solve problems that scare you, because if you don't use your brain, you lose it. So here's the truth. The way you treat your mind today determines your future. You can either let bad habits slowly kill your brain, or you can take control, fuel it, challenge it, sharpen it, and unlock a level of power you never thought possible. The choice is yours. Now, what are you going to do about it? There was a man who prided himself on his work ethic. He believed sleep was for the weak, that real champions burned the midnight oil while everyone else was resting. He told himself that success demanded sacrifice, and for him, that meant cutting back on sleep. At first, he felt invincible. Fueled by caffeine and adrenaline, he powered through his days, convinced he was outworking the competition. But something started to change. He found himself forgetting things, small details at first, then bigger ones. He'd walk into a room and forget why he was there. Conversations blurred together, and his sharp thinking dulled into a sluggish haze. His energy dipped, no matter how much coffee he drank. Decisions that once came easily now felt overwhelming. His motivation, once a fire that burned bright, flickered and faded. What he didn't realize was that his lack of sleep wasn't just making him tired. It was slowly killing his brain. See, every night your brain goes to work while you sleep. It detoxifies, it resets, it repairs. Think of it like a construction crew cleaning up a city after a long day. The streets are cleared, the trash is taken out, everything is restored so that the next day things can run smoothly. But what happens when that crew never shows up? The mess piles up, the city becomes chaotic, dysfunctional. That's exactly what happens inside your brain when you don't get enough sleep. Your brain is your command center, your powerhouse. It controls your thoughts, emotions, and actions. But when you neglect sleep, you're draining its power. Without deep rest, your cognitive functions start shutting down. Your memory weakens, because sleep is when your brain organizes and stores information. Your ability to focus disappears because sleep recharges your attention span, and your decision-making becomes impulsive, irrational. That's why sleep-deprived people make bad choices. They're operating on a brain that's running on fumes. But it's not just about thinking clearly, it's about survival. Studies have shown that chronic sleep deprivation increases your risk of diseases like Alzheimer's. Why? Because when you sleep, your brain flushes out harmful toxins. Skip sleep and those toxins build up, slowly destroying your mental sharpness. Imagine trying to run a marathon while carrying a heavy backpack filled with bricks. That's what your brain is doing every day when you don't let it recover. And yet society glorifies the grind. I'll sleep when I'm dead, they say. No, you'll die sooner if you don't sleep. The most successful people on the planet don't skip sleep. They prioritize it. Champions don't operate at half power. They don't trade sharp thinking for a few extra hours of hustle. They know that to perform at their peak, the brain has to be at its best, and that means sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Think about it. When was the last time you woke up feeling unstoppable? When your mind was crystal clear, your energy was through the roof, and you attacked the day like a lion hunting its prey. That feeling doesn't come from an extra cup of coffee. It comes from deep, quality sleep. Sleep isn't for the weak, it's for the warriors. The ones who understand that their brain is their greatest asset. You can train your body in the gym, you can read every book on success. But if your brain is running at 50%, you will never reach your full potential, period. So the question is, are you willing to sacrifice your potential just to stay up scrolling through your phone, watching Netflix, pretending that grinding through exhaustion makes you tough? Or are you ready to take back control, give your brain what it needs, and unleash the full force of your mental power? Because the moment you start prioritizing sleep, your entire life changes, your focus sharpens, your creativity explodes, your decision-making becomes unstoppable. You stop feeling like you're dragging yourself through the day and start feeling like you're dominating it. The world is filled with people running on empty, surviving instead of thriving. But that doesn't have to be you. You have the power to give your brain what it needs. And when you do, watch how everything in your life begins to shift. There was a time when focus was a superpower, when the greatest minds in history, Einstein, Tesla, Da Vinci, could sit for hours, completely immersed in their work, unlocking breakthroughs that changed the world. But today something has changed. People can't focus for more than a few seconds without reaching for their phones, switching tasks, or craving another hit of stimulation. And most don't even realize it's happening. It starts small. A quick scroll through social media, a bite of fast food, a few minutes of a show you don't even care about. Feels harmless, right? But here's the truth. Every single one of those actions floods your brain with dopamine, the chemical that makes you feel good. And your brain loves it. It craves more. So you keep scrolling, keep eating, keep consuming. But there's a problem. The more you flood your brain with dopamine from artificial sources, the harder it becomes to focus on things that actually matter. Your brain gets used to quick, easy rewards, and suddenly real work, the kind that requires patience, deep thinking, and effort, feels boring. Reading a book feels slow. Working on a goal feels frustrating. You start a task, and within minutes, your brain is screaming for a distraction. This is why people can't sit still anymore, why they can't read an article without checking their phone, why they start a project and give up halfway through. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're not capable. It's because their brain has been hijacked. Think about it. Every time you check your phone, your brain gets a tiny hit of dopamine. You don't even need to do anything. Just unlocking the screen gives your brain a rush. That's why people check their phones hundreds of times a day. It's not a habit, it's an addiction. Social media companies know this. They design their platforms to keep you hooked. Infinite scrolling, autoplay videos, notifications, all engineered to trap your attention and flood your brain with just enough dopamine to keep you coming back for more. It's not just social media. Junk food does the same thing. Your body craves real nutrients, but instead you feed it sugar, processed chemicals, and artificial flavors that trick your brain into thinking it's getting something good. It's an illusion. The more junk you eat, the more your brain rewires itself to crave easy, instant pleasure. This is why you feel exhausted all the time, why your motivation is fading, why your ability to focus is getting weaker. Your brain is chasing the next hit of dopamine, and in the process, you're losing control. But here's the good news. You can take that control back. You can rewire your brain. You can break free from the cycle and restore your ability to focus, to think deeply, to push through discomfort, and do the work that actually moves your life forward. It won't be easy. When you cut back on distractions, when you stop reaching for your phone every 5 minutes, when you stop eating junk that gives you fake energy, your brain will fight back. You'll feel restless, bored. You'll crave that quick dopamine hit. But if you push through that discomfort, something amazing happens. Your brain starts to heal. Your focus returns. Tasks that used to feel overwhelming become easier. Your creativity sparks back to life. Your ability to sit down, concentrate, and get things done without distraction becomes your new superpower. The most successful people in the world, they've mastered this. They don't let their brains get hijacked by cheap dopamine. They control their focus. They control their attention. They train their minds like an athlete trains their body, because they know that focus is the ultimate competitive advantage. So the question is, are you going to keep letting dopamine control your life? Keep letting distractions pull you away from your goals? Or are you ready to take back your mind, sharpen your focus, and unlock a level of success most people will never reach? The choice is yours. There was a man who had all the potential in the world. He had talent, intelligence, and the drive to succeed. But every time he tried to take a step forward, something held him back. It wasn't his circumstances. It wasn't a lack of opportunity. It was something far more powerful, his own mind. Every day he told himself the same story. I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. I always mess things up. He didn't say it out loud, but those words played on repeat in his head like a broken record. And the more he thought them, the more real they became. He started second-guessing himself, hesitating when he should have taken action, backing down when he should have stepped up. His confidence crumbled, his motivation faded, and his dreams started slipping away, not because he wasn't capable, but because he convinced himself he wasn't. What he didn't realize was that every negative thought, every ounce of self-doubt was physically rewiring his brain for failure. Thoughts aren't just words floating around in your head. They are electrical signals shaping the very structure of your mind. And when you fill your mind with toxic thoughts, you flood your brain with chemicals that destroy your confidence, weaken your creativity, and drain your energy. Stress and negativity release cortisol, the hormone that triggers fear, anxiety, and hesitation. When your brain is drowning in cortisol, you can't think clearly. You can't take risks. You can't see opportunities. Instead, you freeze. You hesitate. You convince yourself that staying small is safer than stepping into your potential. And before you know it, you've built a prison in your own mind, trapping yourself in a cycle of fear and failure. But here's the truth. That cycle is a lie. Your brain is not fixed. It is not stuck in negativity forever. It is constantly changing, rewiring itself based on what you feed it. If you keep feeding it self-doubt, it will keep you weak. But if you start feeding it power, belief, and confidence, it will transform. Think about it. Every great champion, every successful person, every world changer started with the same doubts, the same fears. The only difference? They refused to let their toxic thoughts win. They trained their minds to believe in their power, even when the world told them otherwise. They replaced "I can't" with "I will." They replaced "I'm not enough" with "I am more than capable." And over time, their brains rewired to match their new reality. Your mind is your greatest weapon, but only if you learn to control it. Right now, you have a choice. You can keep feeding yourself the same doubts, the same excuses, the same negativity that's been holding you back. Or you can break the cycle. You can start speaking to yourself with power. You can start shifting your thoughts, replacing fear with confidence, replacing hesitation with action. At first, it will feel unnatural. Your brain will resist. It will try to pull you back into old patterns. But if you push through, If you keep choosing empowering thoughts over toxic ones, your brain will adapt, your confidence will grow, your motivation will ignite, your entire life will begin to change. Because success doesn't start in your circumstances, it starts in your mind. And the moment you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your future. There was a man who used to be sharp, quick-witted, always thinking ahead, always learning. But over time, something changed. He stopped pushing himself. He got comfortable. He stuck to what he knew, avoided challenges, and settled into a routine that never asked more of him than he was already capable of giving. At first, he didn't notice the difference. He felt fine. But then, little by little, things started slipping. His memory wasn't as sharp. His focus wasn't as strong. He struggled to solve problems that once came easily. His creativity dried up, and his ability to adapt to new situations weakened. He chalked it up to age, to stress, to life just being different. But the truth was simple. His brain was deteriorating because he had stopped using it. Your brain is like a muscle. Use it and it gets stronger. Neglect it and it starts to shrink. Every time you push yourself to learn something new, solve a complex problem, or think in a way that challenges you, your brain forms new neural connections, making you smarter, sharper, and more capable. But the moment you stop growing, when you stick to the same routine, avoid mental effort, and refuse to challenge yourself, your brain begins to atrophy. This is why some people keep getting smarter while others seem to fade away. It's not genetics, it's not luck, it's the simple decision to keep challenging the mind. Look at the world's greatest thinkers, innovators, and leaders. They never stop learning. They read, they explore new ideas, they take on challenges that force them to think differently. They refuse to let their minds settle into comfort. But most people, they do the opposite. They choose entertainment over education. They choose easy over effort. They spend hours scrolling through meaningless content, numbing their brains with distractions instead of sharpening them with knowledge. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why their creativity is dead, why they struggle to stay focused, to come up with solutions, to adapt in a fast-changing world. The harsh reality is this: if you're not challenging your brain, you're making yourself dumber. And the world is moving too fast for that. Intelligence isn't a fixed trait, it's a choice. Every day you have the opportunity to make yourself smarter or weaker, and that choice comes down to how you use your mind. So what are you doing to push yourself? When was the last time you learned something completely new? When was the last time you tackled a problem so big it forced you to think differently? If you can't remember, then you're letting your brain decay. But here's the good news. Just like a weak muscle can be rebuilt, your brain can too. The moment you start challenging yourself again, your mind starts waking up. Read books that stretch your thinking. Learn new skills that force you to struggle before you succeed. Solve problems that make you uncomfortable. Train your brain like you would train your body, pushing it to new limits every single day. Because the people who win in life aren't the ones who play it safe. They're the ones who never stop growing. They're the ones who stay sharp, stay hungry, and refuse to let their minds go to waste. Life is not for the weak-minded. It's not for those who sit back, let their potential rot, and watch the world pass them by. Life belongs to the ones who dare to think bigger, push harder, and rise above their limitations. It belongs to the ones who refuse to let their brains deteriorate, who refuse to be controlled by distractions, who refuse to be shackled by their own toxic thoughts. Because in the end, it's not your circumstances that define you. It's your mindset. It's your willingness to challenge yourself, to grow, to sharpen your mind like a blade forged in fire. Your brain is the command center of your entire life. The way you think determines the way you live. The way you train your mind determines the level of success you will achieve. Weak minds do not build empires. Weak minds do not create legacies. Weak minds do not change the world. If you want to be great, if you want to stand above the rest, if you want to live a life of power, you must master your mind. Because the truth is, the world is not designed for the weak. It's built for those who refuse to accept mediocrity. You have two choices. Let your brain decay into weakness, or sharpen it into an unstoppable weapon. You either control your mind or your mind controls you. Every thought you allow to linger, every action you take, every challenge you avoid, it's all shaping the person you become. You are not designed to be average. You are not built to live in mental fog, to stumble through life confused, distracted, and lost. You were built for clarity. You were built for focus. You were built to break barriers. Look at the greatest legends who ever lived. The people who changed history, who redefined what was possible. They all had one thing in common. They refused to let their minds weaken. They trained themselves to think differently. They embraced discomfort. They didn't waste their time on distractions. They didn't allow negativity to poison their thoughts. They challenged themselves every single day because they knew that if they didn't, the world would leave them behind. And now, here you are, standing at a crossroads. You can continue down the path of ease, of comfort, of mediocrity, where your mind slowly rots away, where your focus dies, where your potential remains locked inside you, wasted. Or you can make the decision to take back control, to train your mind, to push yourself, to unlock the intelligence, creativity, and power that has been inside you all along. Because in the end, it all comes down to one simple truth. Your mind is your greatest weapon, and if you don't use it, you will lose it. The champions, the leaders, the world changers, they don't wait for motivation. They create it. They don't let distractions steal their future. They protect their focus like their life depends on it. They don't let negative thoughts dictate their reality. They rewire their brains for greatness. You want success? Then earn it. Not with excuses, not with complaints, but with discipline, with hunger, with an unbreakable mind. You have to be obsessed, relentless, unstoppable. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. It's on you to build it, to create it, to fight for it with everything you have. The clock is ticking. Every day you waste is a day you'll never get back. The time will pass anyway, so you might as well be great. Train your brain like your future depends on it, because it does. One day you will look back at this moment and you will either be proud of the mind you built or regret the potential you wasted. So what's it going to be?